Riverside. It is a Wednesday, and you know what? It's game day today, people.
Yes,
Let's go.
Yeah.
Mike Rochon with me. Hello, Michael.
Good morning, Tim. I'm excited. You know, couple days off, much needed days off for the Jays here, and ready to get back at it tonight.
Some mental health days.
Right.
But again, you know, we talked about this. Like, you shouldn't feel like, you know, throwing in the towel and jumping off a cliff when you lose at Providence, because the bottom half of this league is pretty damn good.
Yeah.
I mean, not NCAA tournament good, but
right.
They're much better than years past. Like,
yes,
you know, think about it. We usually had 2 to 3 teams at the bottom that just sucked. I mean, They just did. And you were going to roll the ball out there. You know, DePaul, last year, Seton Hall, you know. They don't have that this year.
Yep. You get away playing your like C- game and still, you know, come away with a easy, you know, 12, 15 point victory, but can't do that.
Yeah, and not only that is when those teams go on the road too, it's not an automatic out, you know?
Right. Exactly.
So, you know, maybe Marquette's like the one you look at, but then, you know, they turn around and beat Providence, you know.
Yep.
Although Providence has lost games in unbelievable fashions.
Right.
Which was kind of hilarious the other night. And the announcers alluded to it. You could hear the crowd just like so tense in that last minute. Like, we're going to blow this.
Right.
But yeah, then last night, you know, Butler keeps it going. They've won 2 in a row now.
Yep.
DePaul's kind of been on a little run, and from a, you know, handicapping angle, I was like, okay, 7.5 seems a lot, and I think it went down to 6.5. But then I was like, you know, this is a team that hasn't won before. They're pretty full of themselves now.
Right. Yeah.
That's what happens. You know?
Right.
And oh my word, I couldn't text him. I just couldn't. Coach Lutz, they are up 7 less than 2 minutes to go, and they lost that. TCU scored 10 straight points. That would have been they needed a nice win.
Right.
Road win, and that would have been a nice one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. What a crusher. That would have got them into the conversation again for a berth. And UCLA is now probably going to be in most people back in. And then North Carolina State beats Clemson, so they're probably back in. So, yeah. And I wouldn't throw dirt on Butler yet. They could get on a roll here. And yeah, I don't remember a time when I seen like the last place team in our conference is Georgetown, and I'm like, I got some pretty nice pieces.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, if you're looking at the Big East, you know, if you're a team in the Big East, like all of your games are winnable, but like all of them are losable. And obviously that's, you know, pretty, no duh. But like, you know, it's not like you talked about earlier, like, you know, like even UConn, like as good as UConn is, you know, I mean, they struggled at Georgetown this past weekend, you know, and held on there in that game. And you wouldn't think, hey, UConn undefeated, Georgetown's lost 5 in a row, 6 in a row, but these are all like the top teams all have chances to lose to the teams on the lower side, and the lower side have a chance to beat all these teams at the top side of the standings.
And it's going to be interesting to see if anybody in that middle tier starts pushing. And I thought it would be DePaul, but it's not. But maybe segue, it could be the team we're playing tonight in Xavier.
Yeah.
The team I once crowned as the worst team in the Big East.
Yeah.
I still don't think they're very good. I still think they're down there at the bottom. And by the way, speaking of the bottom, I was not buying the Seton Hall Kool-Aid from the very get-go. and
I was right there with you on
they've
that.
lost 3 in a row now, and
Yep.
now they're trending back toward the middle of the pack. So,
Yep. I mean,
thank you, Seton.
you hate to say it, a team that struggles so much offensively
Oh
is, I
God,
mean, you're gonna have a chance to lose every single game because if you can't put the ball in the basket, and then if you're not, and again, I'm not trying to be a biased homer here, but if you don't get bailed out by officials, then on the defensive side, then
right,
then what are you gonna
right.
do?
No,
So
that's a good point with Seton Hall because they play so aggressively. You could call a
yeah,
foul every trip down the floor.
exactly.
And the other thing is, St. John's had like their C- game last
Oh
night.
yeah.
And was able to still win just because they're another great defensive team, but
Yep.
they ain't Seton Hall ain't going on any big after they took that lead. They're not going on any
Right.
big run because
Right.
St. John's couldn't throw it in the ocean for the first 20 minutes.
Right.
So yeah, that's great action. Love it.
Yeah.
But we got Georgetown, I think, at Villanova tonight. See, now, I think
Yes.
Georgetown's played 2 really good games in a row and lost. Can they bounce back here? And a Villanova team that's coming off a loss. So it's a kind of an iffy game. But anyway. All right. So Xavier tonight. And everybody, we're going to repeat this several times. It's a 6 o'clock start. Okay. 6 o'clock. I think it's our only midweek 6 o'clock game, I believe, if I'm correct.
I think you're right. Yeah.
And it is, I started thinking about it. God, how do we do these all the time? This is like it's going to be crazy, especially with the traffic, the way the roads are downtown and all ripped up and people trying to get there.
Be fun.
We just never have a game where we can say, well, the crowd won't be late arriving tonight.
Yeah.
There's always some excuse. It's a late night, and I'm talking midweek. Obviously, a week from Saturday, the crowd will be there an hour early.
Yeah.
For UConn. But all right, but before we get into the Xavier preview, let's talk about Infusion Brewing, infusionbrewing.com. Speaking of which, you can have a tasty Let It Fly beer produced by Infusion Brewing over at the arena or at Let It Fly Sports Bar in downtown Omaha before, and then a Victory beer afterwards, hopefully.
They actually don't sell it in the arena anymore.
Oh, they don't have it in the arena anymore. They have a different one.
They have the Pint 9 and then the Brew J.
All right.
So,
I got to write that down.
Yeah.
I got to ask Ryan about that. What's the deal with that?
Because it doesn't go to. We did at the event at Infusion a couple weeks ago. We asked him about it, and since it doesn't go towards like any NIL or anything like that, they weren't going to allow them to do it.
Oh, really? Well, that's weird.
Right.
I mean, does Coors go toward NIL or
I think it's the special the specialty. I don't know. He didn't get into all that. We just asked him about it, and he wasn't too thrilled about it. So
yeah, that's like the second product. The other one's a non-beer product, and I won't bring it up, but that I've heard that there's like a lot of politics going on with them not being in the arena and so on and so forth. So it's kind of weird.
Right.
And when I talked to the Creighton folks, not about the beer, but the other one, they're like, no, we would like them to be in the arena. So I don't get it.
Right.
But at any rate, you can still let it fly.
Yeah, still really good. So
and still, it's a very popular choice amongst patrons.
Yep.
And not only that, wow, it's only coming up here 4 days away. It's the Wax and Drafts big event on Sunday from 11 to 4 at Infusion. There are going to be over 40 card vendors there. You can buy, sell, trading cards. God, I'd like to go. I'd like to go just to see what's out there. It'd be, I haven't been to one of those in eons. But it's always interesting to me to go and look and go, oh, I used to have that card, I used to have, for a guy who's into cards, I may have told this story, but whatever. I as a kid, so as a kid, those cards were not worth the bubble gum. You bought them for the bubble gum,
Right.
so you could put a big chew of bubble gum in your face
Yeah.
while you're
Yeah.
playing Little League.
Yeah.
You bought people would put them in their bike spokes, just turn around. We used to play like a game with them. I would take a pen, and I remember the player was Maury Wills, Hall of Famer. I remember he traded teams, and I just crossed out the team on the card and wrote his new team, like stuff like that. I remember I had a Mickey Mantle, like about a 65, 66 Mickey Mantle. Those things were worth thousands of dollars.
Right.
Like, are you kidding me? But then I did find my cards when I was living in Wyoming. I did find them, and I got them, and I had them, and then I like, I'm going to just get rid of these. And, oh, my God, people just gobbled them up. Like, just guys I didn't hardly even know they were buying, spending money on them. But anyway, it's a lot of fun. It's open to the public, totally free. And so go in there, and, you can buy pizza, beer, soft drinks, and so forth, and check out some of that great infusion beer. As I've mentioned, they have the dill pickle. Now they have the spicy dill pickle, which is even more awesome. So check it out. That's Infusion Brewing, infusionbrewing.com. All right, Xavier Musketeers, we just absolutely thumped them the first time. I wouldn't expect an exact repeat of that again. What say you, Michael?
Yeah, I mean, you figure, teams that get blown out, they're going to come. You would think they would come with their hair on fire and ready to go tonight. Jay's 51st in Ken Palm, Xavier 92nd. Jay's 56 in the net, and Xavier 98th in the net.
So this is a quad 3 game.
Yeah. So, I don't think we need to say this anymore, but it's obviously a must win for the Jays.
You can't lose this one. Can't lose this one.
Xavier 11.
There's a team that's in the field, and they're probably still going to be in the field, that lost the home game last night. And you're going to hear this name and go, yeah, well, this happened to UNLV beat Utah State on the road. So, that's a bad loss for Utah State. That's going to be a quad 3 for them. On the same deal, we can't start stacking little red boxes in that quad 3 pile.
Right. So Xavier 3-4 in the Big East. They started off 1-4 in the Big East. They've won their last two, beating Providence 97-84 and beating Butler 89-75. And as Tim talked about a little bit earlier, Jays last time out, Jays just completely dominated Xavier 98-57. Jays shot 60% from the field, 48% from three. And on the flip side, Xavier shot 36% from the field and 25% from 3-point range. Xavier likes to shoot the three. They're second in the Big East at close to 36% from 3-point range. So, Jay's doing an outstanding job, in Cincinnati, holding them to shooting 25% from 3-point range. If the Jays want to get the victory tonight, that is going to be a massive key in that game. Austin Swartz led the way with 27 against Xavier. Nick Grace had 12, and then Blake Harper and Jason Green each had 11 in that game up in Cincinnati.
Well, here's a little stat for you from Rob Anderson. So, I don't know if people are expecting another blowout or looking past this game. Better not. Greg McDermott's only beaten 4 teams by 20 points or more both times in the season. He's only done it 4 times. You would think it would be more than that, right?
Right.
And oddly enough, one of the teams that we did it to was Villanova.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That was going to be one of the teams is Villanova. So
we've actually done it to Butler twice and then DePaul once. And Xavier, here's another stat that's going to scare people to think that this could be. This is a crazy stat. 11 of the last 23 games, so half the last 2 games, have been 5 points or less in the final minutes of the game. In the final minute of the game.
Oh.
So
everybody that wants to leave at the under 4 timeout, stay in your seats.
Don't do it. Oh no, I'm sorry. 25 of the 44 all-time meetings have been within 5 points in the last minute, 11, including 11 of the last 23. So these have been very, very hotly contested games.
Yeah.
Now you can say, Xavier's had a lot of talent in some of these. I've been at the upper, and so has Creighton, and maybe now we're more fighting for the middle this year. But at any rate, go ahead. Let's talk about the Musketeers.
So they are seventh in the Big East, scoring 77 points a game right now. Like I said, they are 42%, which is 10th in the Big East from the field. And like I said, 36%, which is second. So, they rely heavily on the three ball. They are only averaging 35 rebounds a game, which is eighth in the Big East, which, if you look at these past games with Creighton really struggling on the glass, this is not a team that is necessarily going to scare you, but they do have some size that can make things difficult if the Jays aren't attention to details and communicating, which I know listening to Mac yesterday at practice, he still was harping on at this point in the season to still be making the mistakes on the defensive end is very concerning, especially the lack of communication and things like that. So hopefully, like we talked about, Jay's having these days off, hopefully some get right practices, the ability to kind of hone some things in on the defensive end, because what they were doing these last few games, especially against Providence on the defensive end, has not been very good. So,
yeah, I was there yesterday, and the press corps was really focused on the defense, and if you remember, like on our post game after the game and so forth, we were more focused on the rebounding, we understood it because they had such a size advantage, but still. And they all their questions were directed to rebounding. And I know Josh Dix came up and the first question was defense again. I'm like, what is defense? So I said to Josh, I go, they was talking about the tough practices they had and the film sessions and yada, yada, yada. And I said, well, I'm guessing you probably had a lot of different practice stints with the cone in the basket, and he just broke out into laughter and said, "Yeah, we had a lot of practice with the cone in the basket, just practicing rebounding, because there's a lot we can do better." So very interesting. But you mentioned Greg McDermott. He's gone 140 consecutive games without a technical.
Wow.
For a guy who's on officials, pretty good.
Yeah. He must stay away from any magic words.
Well, yeah, he's pretty tough, but I think they respect him. Maybe the officials respect him for that. They know, these officials know who gets teed up. That's why Hurley has such a short string. Yep. They know the guys that are going to be on their case and guys that aren't. I wonder if you could get this bet anywhere. The Jays, listen to this. The Jays have made at least 1-3 in 1,075 games in a row. I mean, I know we're known for 3-point shooting, but still, that's still an amazing. I think one night we, or 1 year where we didn't shoot the three as well. 1993, the last time, against Illinois State.
Wow,
that's amazing.
It is.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So Xavier's an interesting team because, I've watched them several times. Yet, if you, I can't rattle off a bunch of players. You know what I mean? Because they're all new. They're all new for one thing.
Right. Yeah. So their leading scorer, Trey Carroll, he's averaging on the season about 17 points a game. So far in Big East play, he's averaging 16 points a game. He's had a high of 29 against Butler, and then his season low, or the Big East low, was against Creighton, and they held him to 7 points. He's also averaging close to 6 rebounds a game, shooting 48% from the field and 31% from three-point range. The Jays did. He plays about 31 minutes a game. Jays did an outstanding job against him in that first matchup in Cincinnati. So, he's obviously going to be the top guy on the scouting report. Jays are going to have to continue that defense on him. Don't give him anything easy. They really, really frustrated him. And I know you can say, they frustrated everybody on Xavier's team that night, but you could tell body language wise, like he was not, he was done in that game. So.
Carroll's good. We did a pretty good job against him. As you said. And I don't know, there's usually that one guy. Is he going to be that guy tonight that we just shut down? I don't know.
Yep. So a couple other guys. Roddy Anderson, he's averaging 13 points a game in Big East play. His high in the Big East, 15 against UConn and DePaul. And then he had only 10 against Marquette. He scored 12 against Creighton in the first matchup. So I think that was number 2. For leading scorers. He shoots 37% and 28% from three-point range. He plays about 25 minutes a game. So then they have a couple foreigners here. Jovan Milicevic. He averaged 11 points on the season, but he's only averaging 8 points a game in Big East play. He's struggled in Big East play. He had a high against Providence of 22. And as I go through the players, you're actually going to see kind of a similar thing when I say somebody's high is against Providence. And then he did not score against Creighton. He went 0 of 8 from the field against Creighton. Creighton did an outstanding job against him as well. He's shooting 42% from the field and 42% from three-point range. I know Creighton did an outstanding job of running him off the three-point line. He only attempted 2 threes in that game and making him do different things. And he plays 23 minutes a game. And he also has, of the 7 games in the Big East, he's fouled out of 3 of them. So he is not great defensively. You can get him in foul trouble, and he's one of those guys that, he needs to get in a rhythm to get going. And so, against Creighton on the bench, foul trouble, coming back in, trying to get back in rhythm. Jays just didn't allow it. And, he was stymied there in that game at Xavier.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like they played better of late. But then, those games are at home, so it's a little bit. I can't get a finger on this Xavier team.
Right.
I kind of had a finger on them earlier, thinking they were the worst, but now I'm like, I'm kind of in this. They're kind of fall in the Seton Hall bucket with me. Like, they're not as good as people think they are.
Right.
For different reasons. I mean, Seton Hall people are thinking they're tournament good, or Xavier, they're just thinking they're 500 good.
Right.
In the league. Hey, speaking of which, is better than 500 in the league is Vino Moss. Vino Moss wine is awesome. So Vino Moss, great place to go for a glass of wine. 2 great locations now. One south of 144th and Maple, or south of Maple, just off 144th next to Blue Sushi. And then the new location's in Legacy. So check it out. That's vinomoss.com. Great wine. I can't talk to you enough about the service they have. It's just a fabulous service. I mean, you walk in there and somebody's jumping, taking, you can walk into Vino Moss. The cool thing too is you just go up and grab a bottle of wine and just take it up the counter and go, I want to drink it. And away you go. They got great charcuterie boards. But they're just all over you. They come over the table, they pour it for you. They're just fabulous. They can answer any question about any wine in the whole building, which is amazing to me. And then their wine club is off the charts. So check them out. That's Vino Moss at vinomoss.com. All right, so I want to segue here a second. They're two important things. Number one, did you know, Michael, that the Big East is requiring availability reports on players now?
I
You knew
did.
this?
Yes, because there was kind of an uproar, not the game we played Providence, but the game before Providence. They didn't put Edwards on the report, and then he ended up not playing in that game. So
Uh,
a lot of people were upset about
I
that.
thought this was recent. So anyway, go to bigeast.com/sports/2025/1126 2526. That's kind of a long address, and then underscore MBB, and just Google Big
Yeah,
East availability report. But
yeah,
anyway, they got to be up 3 hours ahead of time. So you could go, a 6 o'clock game. They should be up by 3 o'clock. So you could go in there and see who maybe sprained an ankle yesterday in practice. You don't know,
right.
right? So that's kind of interesting to me. And then so that's a new thing. And then here's something that I don't think we talk about, and I think it's very obviously top of mind this year because we're down in the standings a little bit, okay? How many teams, listen to this, most seasons 500 or better in the league, in your league record over the last 30 years? How many teams do you think are in that?
But sorry, say that again.
Okay, so just you finished your conference 500 or better
Okay.
over the last 30 years. How many teams do you think qualified to be in that club?
Is this just Big East or all conferences?
Oh, it's the whole,
Oh,
all Division One.
wow. I'm gonna say probably not as many as people would think. There's going to be just a handful of teams that have.
Okay, well, you're very close with the handful.
Okay.
There are 6. There are 3 of them that have done it all 30 years, and we can kind of guess. Gonzaga, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Team that dominates their conference.
Yep.
Kansas and Duke. Those 3. The next 3 who've done it 29 out of the 30. Michigan State, Kentucky, and Creighton. That's a pretty damn good club to be in. You're in there with Gonzaga and then 4 other of the biggest blue bloods we have in the sport.
And I think you said this earlier before we got on this. These are game notes from Rob Anderson, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure Rob gets a shout out here for.
He doesn't need any shout outs. Are you kidding me?
Stats like that.
Shout outs. He gets shout outs. Did I say I maybe said this? He gets a shout out from Seth Davis.
Yeah.
When Seth Davis didn't know what the hell to say about women's basketball, he's just like, well, this is from Rob Anderson. Rob's one of the best in Disney. He just goes on and on and on. Okay, here's another club of teams, okay? Consecutive seasons, 12-plus league wins. 12 or more league wins. Just the Power Fives entering this year. So consecutive seasons of 12 or more wins in your conference. Just the Power Five. So mid-majors who dominate like Gonzaga, they don't.
So Gonzaga would, yeah.
Yeah. How many do you think are in that club?
3.
Yeah, you know how many there are? There is 1.
There's 1. Okay.
Creighton Blue Jays. That's incredible. You don't think about stuff like this, right?
Yeah. No.
Now, what's helping Creighton out is we played a 20-game schedule for quite a while. Most conferences have been at 18 or even some 16. So that helps you a ton because you can go 12-8 versus having to go 12-4. It's a big difference.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a little skewed. But then we're in another list of consecutive seasons 500 or better in the league, just Power Fives. There's a list of 7, and Creighton's in that list too. And Florida, Houston, and Oregon are added to that other list that we talked about. So I'm sorry, I just find those.
No, those. Yeah, that's
Rob just doesn't. Well,
that's
I mean,
awesome.
he's got a book. Look at this thing. It's like
I know.
it's like the book of Trump's accomplishments yesterday that he threw down on the table. That was about 8 inches thick. I mean, look at this thing. It's just for one game, for a Xavier game. My God.
It's outstanding.
I talked to him about it once. I said, "How the hell do you do this, Rob?" And he's like, "Well, I just got a database and I just pull up Xavier and then everything that I pertinent, and then I just add stuff to it."
Yeah.
So, yeah. So Xavier's, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I do want to mention 2 players real quick. Malik Messina Moore. He's played really well in Big East play. He's averaging 17 points a game in Big East play. So he's a guy. He was a leading scorer against Creighton with 14. He had 23 against Providence. He plays 31 minutes a game. So he's kind of not sure if he was on, necessarily on the scouting report as much in that first matchup, but he's definitely part of, a big part of the scouting report for this game, just because of how well he has played in Big East play. And then Philip Borvakanen, he's averaging 11 points in Big East play. He's a big guy, averaging 8 rebounds a game. So, the Jays are going to have to put a body on him. They did a really good job against him in the first matchup. He only scored 5. Wasn't really a factor. I mean, really nobody was a factor in that game. But, he's another guy that as Big East play started, he started to play better because before that, he was averaging 8 points a game, jumped up to 11 here. So he had 15 against Providence, who has size to battle with him. And, he scored 15 against them. So he's a guy Jays are going to have to be aware of as well.
Yeah, so we're kind of miffed that Xavier's, like maybe it's just me, I'm miffed. That Xavier's, one of the worst. Initially said one of the worst teams, and now they're in the middle of the pack. Well, this is where you get the old microscope out and look at their schedule.
Yeah.
Okay. Listen to this. Okay. Xavier has not played these teams at all. They have not played Seton Hall. They have not played St. John's. They have not played Villanova. Holy cow.
It's going to be a rough.
So here's what they have after tonight. So, if you're Patina, you're like, well, we kind of got to get this game.
Yeah.
They go St. John's at Seton Hall, then DePaul at home, and that's no bargain. At UConn, at St. John's. That's their next 5. 1-4, maybe. Maybe 1.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then they get a break with Marquette, but then they go Villanova at Butler, at Providence. That's 2 and, that's probably 2-6 there.
Yeah.
So they still could be the worst team. Especially if Marquette beat them.
Right.
Or Georgetown. Georgetown, I guess, I keep saying Marquette, but Georgetown's at the bottom right now, technically. So, yeah. Versus a team like DePaul, they're done with UConn. It's January 21st, and they're done with UConn.
Right.
So they, yeah, that's crazy when you look at it that way.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, a better Xavier team than we saw the first time. I don't think there's any question. They didn't exactly play Murderers Row in the non-conference. They did play Iowa, got beat by 20. They got beat by 20 by Santa Clara at home. Santa Clara's decent, though.
Yeah.
They did have a 1-point loss to Georgia. I think Georgia's a better team now than they were then, but still, that's it. They did beat West Virginia, who's not very good this year. They did beat Cincinnati in their crosstown rivalry, and at the time, that looked like a huge win because Cincinnati had garnered some wins. Now Cincinnati's getting pummeled by everybody until they just had the big upset the other night.
Right.
So, their best win is Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Second best win, probably Georgetown?
Butler?
At Georgetown?
Winning at home against Butler, maybe? I don't know.
What do you think is tougher, winning at home against Butler or going on the road and beating Georgetown? Yeah, probably Butler. You're right.
Yeah.
Probably Butler. So
I mean, Georgetown has, 0 home court advantage. So, I know it's on the road, but I mean that game, and there was a lot of fans at the UConn, but it's UConn.
I'm sure they had a
UConn,
big crowd for that
yeah,
game.
but
UConn brings them in.
I guarantee you there was not a lot of people at the Xavier Georgetown game. So,
Yeah. But again, I just don't know how the crowd's going to be tonight. Do you?
Oh no, I honestly, I really don't. I think it wasn't great against Georgetown. You go and you lose again at Providence. I mean, I think unfortunately, I think people are really down on this Creighton team right now.
They are. Well, somebody made the point in our post game. They're like, well, part of it's Nebraska being good. I don't get that. I don't think they're down on this team because Nebraska's good, or they're not following them because Nebraska's good. I don't think that's the deal. Maybe the people that are in love with the Omaha World Herald, I get it.
Yeah.
People were all up in arms on our message board about they had a breakdown of the rosters against Northwestern. It's Nebraska. There's more. You can be butthurt about that stuff as much as you want. There's more Nebraska fans here. It just is the way it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Try looking back 25 years ago, how it was.
Yeah.
Like Kevin Sarver used to always say this. He goes, before 2000, you used to walk into a store, and if you saw somebody with Creighton gear on, you'd go up and introduce yourself and go, I'm a fan too.
Yeah.
Now you go into Walmart on any given day, and you see more Creighton gear than you do Nebraska gear. So stop it.
Yeah.
There's still more Nebraska fans.
Yeah. And I mean, and you look at, not to get too far into this, but you look at all the newspapers and publications that are closing and not printing anymore because, people aren't buying things. So people are going to buy with Nebraska if they're talking about Nebraska. That's just, I'm not a Nebraska fan, but I know a ton of people are, and that's what they want. They want that. So, and that's what the majority of the people want. So that's, if you're the World Herald, you got to think, I'm sorry, 11-8, 11-7 Creighton Xavier matchup isn't worth doing all that for. I'm sorry, let's, Creighton, let's give them something to write about, so.
What's weird too this year is it just seems to me that we play the same night as Nebraska almost every night this year.
Yeah.
Next Tuesday. I mean, we're going at Marquette. I really want to watch the Creighton, Michigan, or Nebraska, Michigan game.
Yeah.
It just seems odd every game, and it's not like we played kind of a goofy schedule here lately. 5 out of in 12 days, and then we've had almost a week off when we play on Wednesday, and then almost another week off we play Tuesday, and boom, we match up with Nebraska every time.
Right. I noticed that last year with Omaha, actually, because Omaha was going on their run, and literally every home Omaha game there was a Creighton game, and I was like, how? That's,
yeah, I don't know. There's nothing you can really do about that because you could do the non-conference, you could kind of match it up, but conference, and I'm just saying
it just stunk
because the Summit used to be Thursday, Saturday, so we hardly ever play a Thursday game. So but I mean, all you got to do is is look at the subscribers to On 3 between Creighton and Nebraska.
Right.
Now, part of that's probably Sean Callahan does 1,000% better job than I do. But needless to say, all right. So what's your prediction?
Oh, man, I've been terrible so far this year. So, I mean, I really want to see, my thought is Xavier's going to come out on fire, and like I said, with their hair on fire, you got blown out at home, fans left, fans booed, they're going to come out swinging. So is Creighton going to match that? And I think that's the one thing I think that's been very, very frustrating with Creighton this year is there's been times that they just haven't matched the opponent's fire and intensity, and that's what I want to see. Home game tonight. You've had some days off. Hopefully, you've got your legs back. So when Xavier comes out swinging, is Creighton going to swing right back at them and come out like that's what I want to see. So, and I think if the Jays do that, they're going to put themselves in a great position tonight to win this game. But until we as fans consistently see this from Creighton, where they're matching the other team's intensity, it's scary.
Excellent points. I think so too. I think because the crowd might have trouble getting in just because everybody's all coming at once, right? And there might not be a lot of energy in the building, and that's going to be hard. And then if we don't get off to a good start,
right?
And then the other thing too is this is going to be a fun game to watch. I think this is going to be pretty up and down.
Oh, for sure.
I know Creighton's working hard on transition defense with Xavier.
Yep. Xavier is number one in the Big East in assists per game at 19, and they only turn the ball over 9 times a game. So they go down and they get shots pretty much every time down. So again, like we talked about, Jays are going to have to finish defensive possessions with rebounds and things like that. So yeah, that's amazing that because we did turn them over in that first game, right?
So, and some of it was just their doing, obviously, but it'll be interesting to see how that turns out. I thought it would be 8. I looked this morning at 7.5, so that's about right. 155 seems really light to me. I think both teams are going to score a lot of points tonight. But at any rate. So you like the Jays to win, though?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, I think the time off. I think they've worked hard on the rebounding. I think they will come out with a renewed vigor tonight, and hopefully, good news. Josh Townley Thomas is doing some light workout stuff now.
I did see that.
That would be helpful to get him. Because he was actually a nice little added piece at that 5, and
Mac talked about that yesterday. That just him in practice, just the energy and the enthusiasm and everything like that he was bringing during practice. Was
and he didn't add a lot on the stat sheet,
right?
But there was a lot of intangibles, but. Yep. Sometimes you watch him in practice, and I don't know how the injury is going to affect him now when he's coming back. But, man, you were like, holy God, this guy's athletic, man. You know, how come he's not getting some time? So we'll see.
Yep.
Okay, that's it. But before we go, RTI Threads, rtithreads.com. Check out all the great stuff they have to offer, like these caps right here. They are just growing and growing and growing, and they've got a lot of things in the works. They're not going to go away. They're actually building. They've got two things starting for next season, for Creighton season, that they're going to build on. So it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and their stuff is just great. They've done great stuff with us, and now they've got these great looking Blue Jay banner T-shirts. Look at those. Yeah. Look at those. I love the way they turned out, man.
Yeah, very cool.
That blue really pops.
Yep.
So check them out, RTI Threads, rtithreads.com. Okay, don't forget, tonight, post-game show will be live at Let Fly Sports Bar in downtown Omaha. So you can go live on our YouTube channel. Bomb those chats like you did last time. It was awesome. And we love hearing all the feedback. It's an early game, so people should be able to jump on and take care of things. And we're excited about that. So make sure to hit that subscribe and like button. It helps us out a ton. And we will see you tonight.
Go Jays.
Remember, 6 o'clock.